Hey everybody, my name is Evan. I run the FTM Transitions page. I am here today with Cameron in California, and we're going to talk a bit about the coronavirus, health, uh, eating, what's really important now, and as being two people in the community that's growing every day and are greatly affected by these things. A lot of people in the FTM community are in the service industry, are in industries where they have high interactions with people, don't have working jobs right now, and maybe going through hard times. So it's important to know if we're looking to eat right, how can we do that affordably, per day? So it's great to have you on, and I wanted to give you a few minutes to tell you a bit about yourself, your qualifications, what you do out there in California, and how you feel about your health at this time, right now in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, thanks for having me
Yeah.
on. And so yeah, my name is Cameron. On Instagram as at Mirror Envy, or my nutrition page is NG or Next Generation Nutrition.
I'll share that all right here
Um,
under your image too.
okay, cool, perfect. Yeah, so I am a plant-based certified nutrition. I studied nutrition at Arizona State and then received my my plant-based nutrition certification from Cornell. And so over the last 8 years or so, I have been studying nutrition as it applies across the life cycle, and particularly how it can apply to athletes and to um, just improving our health overall. So, particularly in the case of coronavirus, it's especially important to really take advantage of what we can do to improve our health right now. We should always be looking out for our health, but especially when we're trying to fight off viruses or other illnesses that are going around,
Yeah.
it's important that while we're in confined spaces that we're doing things that are going to improve our health. So first and foremost, drinking enough water and staying hydrated is going to be probably the biggest thing.
Water. It's
Yeah,
water. It's water.
yeah, water all the time. So this is about a liter, and I go through this. Yesterday was 4 or 5 times, but on average everyone should be drinking anywhere from 2 to 3 liters a day.
Got it.
So that seems like a lot of
Like
water,
two of those
but
bottles.
what's that?
2 of those bottles a day that you have.
At least two of these a day,
Okay,
yeah.
great. Yeah.
But three would be optimal.
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot, and most people say, "Oh my gosh, it makes me have to pee so much." And
Plus you're flushing
really,
all the toxins out.
it does, yeah. So you're flushing stuff out, A, and B, as long as your urine is like a pale yellow, and
Okay.
it shouldn't be totally clear all the time because then you could be flushing out actually vitamins that are going to be really beneficial for you. So you don't want to overhydrate,
Yeah.
but more than 90% of the population is dehydrated. So
Oh, yeah.
let's not worry about being overhydrated. Let's
That
worry
point
about,
zero 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 0.0001% of you out there.
yeah, exactly. So for all those people who have super clear pee, um, yeah, this doesn't apply to you, but for the other
Oh,
90% of everyone else,
yeah.
you need to be drinking more water, and that's gonna, really just help you, A, have more energy, B, have better skin, you'll sleep better, you'll have less mood swings because when you're hydrated, you don't have as many headaches, so that goes right into your moods.
Mhm.
Um, Aside from that, eating fruits and vegetables are going to be your second biggest way of really preserving your health and then improving your nutrition as you go on. So, I've written down a couple of recipes that are really simple to make at home, whether you're in quarantine, maybe you're at work and you need to have something quick so that you can just take it on the go. Um, and these can easily include fruits. I mean, I don't necessarily put vegetables in my oatmeal, but you can be your own.
That point zero
Um,
zero 0.001% of you out there,
sure, yeah. If
we're
you like
talking to
vegetables in
you.
your oatmeal, do your thing. So oatmeal is going to be a really powerful
Yeah.
food to just incorporate into your life as a whole. And there's two ways that I really like to have oatmeal. A is just put the oats in a bowl with some fruit. If you have protein powder that you enjoy, you could throw that in there. Chia seeds and hemp seeds, those are going to be my favorites. They're really high in omega 3s, which are going to help your heart health. They're good for your brain health. They're good for inflammation. And unlike their omega-6 cousins, they are not going to cause any more inflammation. They're actually going to fight inflammation.
Okay.
So incorporating those into your diet are going to be really useful as well. They also add a couple of grams of protein, which is great. But overall, it's those micronutrients that we really want. A lot of people are really concerned about, oh, I want to be low carb, low fat, high protein, this and that. But really, what it comes down to is if you're eating whole grains, nuts, seeds, fruits, and vegetables, and a nice wide variety of those foods, you're getting all the macronutrients that you need. But what people aren't getting enough of is their micronutrients. So everyone's so focused on, is it high protein? Well,
Yeah.
what about your fiber? What about your micronutrients? So those are also really important. Um, and oats are going to have all of those in there, right? You're going to get all those micronutrients. By adding fruit, you're going to get more antioxidants and micronutrients. Um,
What are some popular fruits for oatmeal? Like that,
oh man,
I know
berries,
bananas.
bananas,
Mhm.
dates, raisins. I really like to put like a fresh honeydew or fresh cantaloupe. It really like comes together really nice. So I was
Never
just saying
tried
it this
that. I've
morning.
never tried that.
Yeah. So um, I usually like the recipe that comes to mind is just plain oats with the hemp seeds and the chia seeds. Those are just a part of my oatmeal all the time.
Mhm.
But with the hemp seeds and the chia seeds, and then a little bit of cinnamon, and then once it's all cooked, and I just microwave it. You don't have to do anything
Just
fancy
put it
to it.
all together, like
Yeah,
everything
add it all
together
together in a
and
bowl, all the
microwave
dry
it.
stuff. Yep,
I
add all the
usually
dry
put the
stuff.
food in after, so I've never thought
Yeah,
of.
yeah. So put the fruit in. No, no, put the fruit in after for sure. Unless you're doing like frozen berries.
Okay, okay.
Um, if you're gonna use like a banana or something, it kind of
Like if a
sometimes it
peach,
gets a little
could you
weird.
imagine like cutting up peach slices and microwaving it? I'm like,
Totally.
that sounds pretty fucking good.
That
So
might, yeah, yeah.
that might be good.
You could also take all of that and just like once it's cooked, slice the peaches up and toss it in the
Yeah,
oven and just bake it for 15, 20 minutes. And
good.
we're all working from home or at home right now.
Didn't even really
So
think of
if you have a
it.
little spare time, yeah, you could
Yeah,
you can make a little
since we know that most of
breakfast.
you have a lot of spare time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And this is the perfect time actually for people who say, "Oh, I don't like to cook that much." Well, now you can kind of experiment
Yeah,
with what you are having at home. Another really useful way to get vegetables in is to eat them with hummus. So hummus is just garbanzo beans, usually with some sort of binding oil or nut butter. Tahini is usually used to make hummus with the chickpeas, and then there's so many varieties of hummus. It's unreal. I
yeah.
even found a sweet hummus.
Oh my god, my partner had one. I'm sorry, but it looked like poop. It was like a chocolate hummus, and I was like, nope,
Oh yeah, yeah,
nope.
yep, yep, yep. I
Mm.
had one. Actually, it was chocolate
How
hummus,
was
and it
it? She
totally
said
did.
it's delicious, and
It
I
was
said, oh, nay, nay.
delicious. It was so good. I had it with apples, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It was just so good.
Oh, I couldn't get past. I wanted to, but no. But I'm
Yeah.
glad that it's good. So maybe
Oh, it is. It's super
people will
good,
try it.
and that's a great way to incorporate the legumes and the vegetables. Even just yesterday, we were eating a half of a bell pepper that was left over from pasta that we had made, and then some carrots and celery is also another good one. Tons of water. It'll help you from overeating those snacky foods because it's easy when we're stuck inside to say, "Oh, I don't feel like making something. I'll just grab some chips."
I got a
Right? Or I'll
bag of
just
chips
grab
open with my
crackers.
name on it from today.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
Exactly.
That's funny. Oh god.
So,
Yeah, it has been easier. I had gotten some little carrots to try to munch on, and
yeah,
having just more of those finger foods that are
right.
that we had when we were younger. Carrot sticks and celery, or the
Hmm.
ants on the log is real cheap and affordable
Oh,
as a snack, and that's
very affordable.
delicious.
It
One
is
of those
so
things.
good. Right, right. The other thing you can do, and this seems like it's kind of like it's counterintuitive, and sometimes you'll hear people say, "Well, if I'm going to eat vegan, why do I want something that looks like meat?" But what I've found is the Morningstar, the brand Morningstar,
Yeah.
actually makes vegan, and be careful because they do have some that are non-vegan. But even
Yes.
if you're just trying to, improve your health, right? We don't have to go from 1 to 10, but it's, to
I
make
have
one
severe
step.
allergies, so making sure that it's vegan is really
Absolutely.
important for me.
Right, right. Yeah.
There's
So if
a lot
you're
of
allergic to
places don't
eggs
have that,
or milk, like, yeah, if you're
yeah,
actually allergic to those things, yeah, definitely just check the package. But right up in the corner, they have a little
vegan.
yeah, a little vegan signifier. So it's really easy to tell. But they have or sorry, patties that are like a vegan chicken patty.
Mhm.
And those are great if you just, you want a sandwich. They also make nuggets. They come in a plain or a buffalo flavor. Either one of those are going to contain 50% less fat than a traditional chicken patty of the same variety.
Okay.
And they're very affordable. Depending upon what store you go to, they could be anywhere from 250 a bag to, and I've seen them at Winco. They're 250 a bag at Whole Foods. I saw them for I think it was 5 or 6.50 a bag. So it depends on where you shop, but they're pretty affordable. It comes with either, I think it's like 4 patties in the
Yeah.
bag,
Gardein is
or a
really
little
good
bag of
too. They should
nuggets.
have that.
Yeah,
Have that. It's
Gardein,
pretty
same thing.
price pointish around there. Like
Right,
Publix, it's like 4.49 to $5 depending, and the
right.
variety is huge, huge.
Right, right. And you can do so many things with that. So just, and I say this because it's very easy to find one thing. And I know we all kind of gravitate to, oh, well, I make chicken tacos, chicken sandwiches, chicken soup, chicken this, right, chicken bake. So this is an easy way that you can say, okay, I'm used to eating this specific food. Here's how I can just make an easy switch and
Yes,
still eat
exactly.
all of those same things.
Yes.
So we make chicken tacos. Like I said, we'll have the chicken sandwiches. Um,
Yep.
and that can be in a variety of ways. You could eat it on a bun with some slaw, or just with some fresh cut up vegetables.
Yeah. It's very
Yeah. So,
simple.
and it's very affordable. It's quick and easy to make. And it's versatile.
1 second. Let me get my
No, you're fine.
eating her ball. Lucy, she's fed and happy. Get out of here, Cookie. So I know that a lot of people are staying in, and
Hmm.
it could be weeks, it could be months. We really don't know the long term effects of people staying in outside of agoraphobia and
Right.
borders kind of thing, and health, long term health, or especially for people that aren't used to going to the gym and working out and don't need
Hmm.
that pump, and how do people stay motivated when it's so delicious in bed,
Totally.
and you're not having to go out and see the world or get,
Mhm.
you're basically in what I call Walmart clothes all the time, just like
Yeah,
pajamas,
yeah.
basically. Nobody's going to see you kind of like, "Rrr."
Right,
And,
right.
the implications, I'm sorry, that can have on long term health when we start, infiltrating into society again, and
Mhm.
what we may come out of these houses like,
Right.
and what people may be able to do in their homes, like one or two, exercises that you may be able to share that are just simple for people to do from their house.
Yeah, so there's 2, actually, well, there's 3 exercises. One of them is gonna be just getting your heart rate up for 5 minutes. And this is easily accomplished. You can jog in place the entire workout,
Okay.
as you could say, or really it's just kind of basic calisthenics. You can do that in your Walmart clothes. You can do it in your underwear. If you felt like, I guess, you could get dressed up and do it and incorporate weights into it.
Mm,
But number one is just getting your heart rate up for 5 minutes. So, and that means not being able to carry on a conversation with somebody for
mhm.
a sustained 5 minute period. So that it could be difficult for you at first, but and I wear an Apple Watch, so I can easily tell when my heart is at or above threshold.
Mhm.
But for someone who doesn't have an Apple Watch or some sort of heart rate monitor, they can easily just tell if they're getting their heart into a nice peak if you can't carry on a conversation with someone, or you couldn't talk on the phone, let's say. So if you live alone, if you're
Maybe is there a
you're
song,
winded.
like if you can't sing,
Sure, yeah. If you
or
couldn't sing the birthday song,
yeah, I was just
or
gonna say happy.
whatever, any song, right? If you couldn't sing a song
Yeah.
while you're exercising, jogging in place, you could be doing mountain climbers. really anything you could be doing, air squats, jumping jacks.
Great.
You could run sprints if you wanted to, but if you're in a confined space, let's think about if we're just in this room. I could easily do mountain climbers in here. I could jog in place. I could do a combination of all of those things. So for at least 5 minutes, you could be doing that, and then for an additional 5 minutes, you're going to alternate doing some variety of push-ups. So that could be right off of your desk. That could be up against the wall. It's whatever is comfortable for you. So if you're just starting out and you've never done a push-up, then probably start with being at your desk and just do 20 push-ups and then alternate. And what you're going to do is sit back with your feet tucked underneath something so that you can lay back, and you're going to lean back until you start to feel some strain on your abs.
Mhm.
And then for 20 seconds, you're going to hold that.
Like
And
underneath
then
the couch or something.
yep, underneath, put your feet underneath the couch and then lean back. So you don't want to start laying on the ground. You want to start sitting up with your knees up.
Mm.
And then you're going to slowly lay back. And once you lay back, you'll start to feel a little bit of a
Yeah.
shaking and tremoring.
Like,
When
oh,
you start
right.
to feel that, yeah, oh yeah, you'll feel it immediately. And it's awesome. Actually, try it out when you get done with this.
Yeah.
Um,
I did abs
and so hold
yesterday.
that.
I
Yeah.
wanna
Oh,
get
yeah. Then
back.
you'll really feel it. Hold that for 20 seconds and then go back, do those 20 push ups again. And like I said, you don't have to they don't have to be perfect push ups.
Mhm.
Obviously, we always want to have great form and we always want to be the best at it. But the reality is, knee push ups are great if you've never done a push up before. Any
For
exercise
sure.
is better than doing nothing.
Yeah.
So do them against your desk, do them on your knees, even just do them up against the wall. That's totally fine because you're
Yeah.
going to build up strength as you go along. So
Did that with
alternate
double
that for the
speakers.
next 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's great. That works great with the people that have no idea, especially or people with
Yeah.
shoulder issues, like I have
Yes,
shoulder
absolutely.
problems and it puts me out in doing things, on the wall or
Hmm.
using my knees. It's not that you're not manly enough or you're
Right,
not don't
right,
have your, aren't the shit, it's you taking
right.
care of your
And
body and making sure you're doing the right
right,
thing for
right. And
longevity.
this is going to keep you, I mean, obviously, this isn't going to build massive muscles, but this is going to keep you active. It'll keep up your cardiovascular health, and then it'll also keep up your muscle tone.
Yeah.
So, that brings me to the next point is because we're not walking around, we're not going to and from the office, we might not be doing our daily jobs anymore in the same fashion. So that means we need to consume less food. So that's where eating more fruits and vegetables that are going to be not calorically dense, but volumetrically dense, that's where we can incorporate less calories, more nourishment, and then drinking more water is going to help you feel more full without that constant need to eat something. So if you're hungry, instead of sitting on the couch and you're on your fourth episode or whatever, and you say, "Man, I really want a snack," drink half of whatever your water is. If you have a cup or if you have a bottle, drink half of that, and then wait 10 minutes and say, "Am I still hungry?" If you are, awesome. Go grab a piece of fruit or grab a tiny handful of nuts. Maybe get a couple of crackers and put that bag of chips across the room or in
Yeah.
the kitchen, and then come back to it. But it's easy to
What kind of
have
fruit
that bag of chips on
do
the
you
couch
suggest?
with you. What's that?
What kind of fruits do you suggest that are like more calorically dense, and better for snackadoo time?
Um, Honestly, any citrus fruit.
Okay.
So I've been eating a lot of pineapple, or sorry, yeah, well, pineapple is a citrus
I just had some
of
pineapple for the
variety.
interview, so
Awesome, yeah,
I
pineapple is
I did
great.
makeover for sure.
Oh, mangoes are fantastic. Actually, we just bought 30 of them.
Oh
Um,
my goodness.
they were three for $1.
When you have
So
that perfect day when it's delicious.
well, they were all different varying degrees
I
of
don't.
ripe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was perfect. I had like 5 or 10 that were really ripe, and then there's probably 15 or so that are not so ripe yet. Um, but apples are excellent. Really, just whatever fruit you'll eat, because some people, they really dislike fresh fruit.
Yeah.
So that's okay. You can blend it up and put it in a smoothie,
Mhm.
right? Or you can mix it into oatmeal, or you can make it into cookies. So a really simple cookie recipe is a half a cup of oats, a banana, a couple of teaspoons of peanut butter, and some mixed dried fruits. So raisins, dried pomegranates, craisins. Really easy. Mix all that together, bake it in the oven, and now you've got some cookies that are actually healthy. all of
Yeah,
those ingredients are good for you.
yeah, that sounds
Um,
really great.
yeah, definitely does. Um,
Wanted you to go over the few meals that you have on here, and we'll have it a a link to his website with these on them also, so you
Perfect.
guys can go down the description, and these will also be down there. But it's meals that are under like $5, so people can
Hmm.
try to get really healthy and hearty meals that are cost effective and vegan because. Um, maybe before we do that, talk a little about the virus, the
Hmm.
coronavirus, and
Hmm.
vegan. There's a lot of I've had to delete some people or block people on Facebook because they sound very mad at vegans for pushing the lifestyle of
Hmm.
having more being morally conscious and caring for other animals, and are very angry that
Hmm.
we defend animals or things like that, or don't want to hear it,
Hmm.
and think that veganism uh, is it it of course it is a luxury in some extent, but in this country, especially in most places, like let's say the Publix, if we're shopping at the same place, or Winn Dixie or anywhere,
Hmm.
um, then I can find vegan solutions that have, just as much nutrients and make it very delicious and vibrant with very
Hmm.
simple things. And a
Hmm.
lot of people who aren't willing to go through that, um, I guess, that time to figure it out, that creativity.
Hmm.
Instead, they get
Hmm.
angry and start hating on other people instead of picking up a thing of cumin and seeing how that tastes, maybe on some
Right.
chickpeas, and then some rice or lentils, and having more of a whole balanced meal than they even
Hmm.
would have as just being meat taters and this overcooked fucking vegetable. 'Cause a
Absolutely.
lot of people white potatoes. I It's very cost effective to have sweet potatoes and so many more nutrients.
Absolutely.
I eat on a budget, and what's funny is fitness people are like people that eat on a budget. Broccoli,
Yeah.
a can of tuna,
Yeah.
and some fucking sweet
Yeah.
potato. It's like the poorest
Right,
budget
right,
that you could have.
right. I
And,
mean,
and
all of that, you could have a meal for $1, right? If
exactly,
you're eating those things, and
exactly.
I can have that same exact meal for less than $1, right?
Yeah,
If I have beans on hand, any variety, pinto, black, chickpea, cannelli, um, okay, then you can have
yeah,
lentils, right? So there's 5 different types of legumes right there,
yeah.
kidney beans. So, and I have all of those beans on hand all the time. And I just bought chickpeas the other day, dry chickpeas, 66 cents a pound.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
and
And
that's a
dry,
pound, right? And
they're even cheaper because you
they're
got to do
dried.
the work of
Yeah.
putting them in some
And
water.
oh man, that's a lot of work,
I will not
or you can buy
stand
them in a
for that.
can. Let me tell you this, right? You can have a whole can, right, which is 14 ounces of chickpeas. So they're ready to go, right? All you do is take them out, strain them. You can keep the water if you want. I can tell you what to do with that, or throw the water out. Doesn't even matter. Rinse those suckers off. Throw them in the food processor with 4 or 5 stems of celery and a little bit of red onion. If you like more red onion, great. Toss it all in there. A couple of scoops of some vegan mayo or some Greek style vegan yogurt, and blend it up. Put a little bit of salt and pepper on that, and then put it onto a sandwich, and we call that a garden salad sandwich.
That sounds
All of that
great,
costs about $1 to make. Oh,
and
it's
you can make a
delicious,
lot of
and that's a
sandwiches
dollar.
out of that. That's a
You can make a
great
ton
deal.
of sandwiches
Yeah,
out of that. You're going to get all the nutrition you need. We usually slice up a couple of tomatoes, put those on there, and then put a little bit of tapatio on there. If you want to get real fancy, you can put some everything bagel seasoning on there.
yeah,
But you can also keep it simple and just put salt and pepper if you want.
for sure.
So, it's entirely how you want to make it. You could also make that a sweet variety. If you wanted to do the same thing, you can throw in chopped apple instead of the red onion. You can do chopped apple, celery,
Hmm.
and some craisins. So it's a little bit more of like a sweeter variety.
Wow, I
And
didn't even
all
thought.
again, $1, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you factor in
Oh
some
yeah.
fancy bread or something, it might be more expensive. But we use sourdough bread or 100% whole wheat bread,
Mhm.
so that's a super cheap and easy food that you can customize however you want. and it takes a can of chickpeas, or buy some dried chickpeas. You can soak them overnight, so you really don't have to do any work. The water's doing the work for you. You boil those guys for 2 hours or so until they're the right texture, and boom, now you got chickpeas. You can save them put them in the fridge. You can add them to pasta. You can make a tofu, like a sorry, not tofu, but a teriyaki bowl out of those,
There's
and
so
then
much
that's good for all week.
when you like experiment just a little with some
Hmm.
seasoning that's outside of, I mean, salt and pepper will do wonders. It
Wonders.
changes the world. That salt is the one most underused thing in vegan restaurants, and I'm like, just where's the fucking
Just
salt?
add some
That
salt. Just
just
add
add some
some
salt
salt.
to make it
Yeah.
savory.
Right.
But
Right.
I add my partner had came up with just a little vegan mayo, a little
Hmm.
distilled I don't even know if it's distilled, just white vinegar and a little bit of
Hmm.
dill, and I mix that with all of my kind of green salads, and it's
Hmm.
delicious, it's
Hmm.
simple, it's cost effective, um
Absolutely.
and it tastes really creamy and hearty,
Right.
and gives me that feeling that I need, and it's really cost effective. And hearing people say that is really sad and discouraging because it's so much more cost effective to eat vegan, especially long term with
Right.
the health complications that so many people go through, and the
Hmm.
detrimental things that animal products and dairy does to the average human body.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about that. You know, I'm going to get into the real specifics of it, and just call it for what it is. So the coronavirus is what's called a zoonotic virus. That means that it originated in animals, and right now the best science to come to light is that the coronavirus COVID-19 originated in a wet market in Wuhan, China, and this means that animals are kept in cages or some sort of pen, and then people can walk by and say, I want that. They slaughter it right there, and then they give you the meat. And when this happens, not only is it incredibly traumatic,
yeah,
I don't think anybody could witness an animal being slaughtered and feel that that's okay with them, or be comfortable with that. I know for sure I don't ever want that for myself or for
it's a
anyone
conscious
around me.
action to not feel also. It's
Right, right.
consciously
And yeah, yeah. So, and whether it's your culture or not, there's no reason to kill something that doesn't want to die. So that's kind of the main principle in veganism as a whole. But when we talk about the the impact on somebody else's life based on someone else's flavor preferences, we can't say that that is their own personal choice, because if I or my family gets infected with COVID-19, that was someone else's personal choice to eat meat that has now caused millions of people, billions of people, to
Mhm.
be affected by a disease that came from the inability for people to eat something other than a carcass. And people can call it what they want, but
Mhm.
a dead animal is a carcass, and if you
Yeah.
consume it, you are eating a carcass. You're eating a dead thing. And that is, honestly, we're beyond that, right? This is 2020, and we should be moving forward and curing diseases and finding better ways to be more efficient and to be more healthful and to live our best lives. But instead, we're all stuck in our houses and we're actually going backwards,
Yeah.
right? And so when we talk about, well, why is veganism important in light of all of this? If there weren't wet markets, if there weren't people who were eating wild animals because they have no access to food that is healthful for them or information that will allow them to learn how to eat healthfully, then they're left to eating bats and cats and pigs and chicken. There's no need to eat any of those. The people who say that, oh well, the virus originated in China because people eat bats and other weird things. First off, that's a really incredibly racist remark to make, because eating a pig and eating a dog, there's no difference.
No, they're
There's
eating
zero difference.
testicles and anuses and everything here.
There's no difference. There is no difference.
Like
There's a
roadkill in
you
the
can go
south,
down to the you can go down to the Mexican market right down the street, and you can buy brain and tongue and balls,
chicken feet. I can go get
lips,
chicken feet at
chicken feet. I can
the
get those at Safeway
yeah,
right now, which
yeah,
is the biggest grocery
yeah.
retailer in the area. So to say that it's weird because another country does it, that's not an
Yeah,
excuse.
yeah,
And in fact, that excuse is what's gotten us to this point,
yeah. Mhm.
and it is to the detriment of our planet and to our people when we can no longer go out into society because of a virus that came from the desire to eat animals. It is not a necessity that we need to that we consume animals. It
Yeah,
is desire. And if we can remove our desire from what is necessary for human life, then we can move forward. But we cannot do that. And we also can't sustain our planet when people are interested in only eating a dead animal.
correct.
And it goes even further than that. We are now this is, and I could cite several studies for you. We can link them below, but there are several studies that show that antibiotic resistance is a bigger threat to all of society than climate change ever will be, because 80% of all antibiotics that are produced are fed to animals
I was
so
just
that they do not get sick in the disgusting places that they are kept, so that they can be slaughtered, so that they
yeah,
can be delivered and packaged and sit on a shelf for weeks on end. And then they're pumped with all kinds of hormones and other fillers, things that are making us sick and contributing to our chronic disease. And so when people have underlying health issues, we're talking about cardiovascular disease, cancer, diabetes. 80% of Americans have some sort of underlying health issue. And then we look at the CDC's list of recommendations or people who are at risk. And what is the number one? It says people who have underlying health issues. Well, if 80% of America has underlying health issues, that means 80% of America is at risk.
mhm.
So now we can't say, well, it's my personal choice to have a burger. No, it's not your personal choice. It's everybody's collective
Yeah.
choice that we are making.
That's what I feel
And
like.
we can't go on like that.
Yeah,
That
I
it's just not
definitely
going to
feel
work.
I definitely feel that way. That stubbornness, has
It
always
is. It is.
been the flaw. Just to do it, like that is the
Right.
weakest thing that I feel you could do as a human being. That's the weakest, most childish, unevolved thing that I feel like anybody could do is just stand up against facts just for the purpose to hurt, murder, maim,
It
um,
doesn't. It
or
doesn't make
pay
any
other people to
sense.
do it because they don't have the balls enough to do it themselves. They're too weak
Hmm.
to do it themselves, so they can't look and
Right.
can only look at something without a face. And um, it's really sad and scary for a lot of people that they aren't given the right tools to know how to eat right. A lot of kids don't know what a tomato
Hmm.
is, a
Right.
potato.
Hmm.
What is romaine? What is parsley? What are all these things?
Hmm.
And I've been very
Hmm.
lucky to have not lucky, but lucky, really bad food allergies to all dairy or red meat, any kind of eggs. I can still have fish and poultry and things like that, but I can't eat anything else. Anaphylactic reactions. But I was forced to learn how to
Hmm.
cook for
Hmm.
myself, figure out ways to make things taste good. If they were having that, I wanted to have it too. And until these
Hmm.
recent years, like, what a blessing. I never thought that I'd live in a day and in time where there were so many options. When Gardein came out 3 years ago in Publix, that's when I put it, like even with my allergies, I fucking hated. I hated vegan cheese. I hated all of
Hmm.
the, they were just terrible products, and I was like, oh my god, no, no wonder. And I ate, a ton of meat, a ton
Hmm.
of fucking meat,
Hmm.
a pound or two at least almost a day, and
Oh,
I was going through. I had terrible farts, I had
of
terrible
course.
gastric issues. I
Of
never fart
course.
anymore, as a vegan. Unless I have broccoli, and I stopped having broccoli because I've read that it's not good. The sugars aren't really good for your body, and I wasn't eating as much of it because I was eating a lot of raw vegetables. I was trying to get more raw,
Mm.
and my body couldn't handle it. But I really like there's so many products, and I know that I can't have an excuse because there's so many products. I can't have a fucking excuse. There's so many options. There's so many online resources. If you're scrolling
Mhm.
and you're doing nothing but bitching and eating meat, just scroll into a vegan page, one of the millions on just Instagram or Facebook, and you can see
Absolutely.
a ton of recipes that are
Mhm.
that just call for one or two things that are usually outside of the average American Caucasian kitchen, that can really
Mhm.
liven up and change your world. And it's taking
Absolutely.
those little steps and being, evolved and part of the future,
Right.
to make that change. And I know that you have a few $5 meals that you had put together, and I wanted you to go
Yeah,
over
yeah.
that with
Let
us
me just
so they can hear
pull them up
you
for
suggest.
you here.
And again, these will be on the bottom in the description.
Yeah. Sorry, we'll have to edit this.
It's okay.
My computer locked me out.
Sorry.
All right, cool. Yeah, so meals under $5, but there are 5 meals actually. So
Five meals.
the first one, yeah, 5 meals under $5, $5 each. But you could probably actually make all of this for under $5. So first off is going to be Power Oats, and I kind of talked about this a little bit at the beginning. Real quick and easy. You can make it ahead. You can make a big batch of it and just scoop it as you like, or however you choose to prefer or choose to prepare it. So it's going to be a half cup of oats or quick oats, steel cut oats, 10-grain cereal, however, whatever kind of oats you enjoy. A tablespoon of hemp seeds and chia seeds, a cup of non-dairy milk. So we drink organic soy milk, but you can choose whatever non-dairy milk is good for you, or you can use water. Really, it's entirely what you prefer for your consistency. And then either a half cup of frozen berries. I wouldn't really put in any other frozen fruit because it just might not taste good. But feel free to
The water.
experiment as you like. Yeah, it might be kind of watery. I've never done any other kind of frozen fruit,
Okay.
so experiment and see if you like it, whatever. Um, and then either a teaspoon of coconut sugar or regular sugar, or maple syrup, some date syrup, or you can even put chopped dates if you just really want to go, whole food plant based, and really avoid any refined sugars or any refined foods.
One date goes a
And
long way
then,
too. They're
oh,
pretty
it sure
sweet.
does. Yeah,
They're pretty
dates are
sweet, so
delicious.
chop it
Yeah, you can
fine
chop
and
them up. Yeah, I
just
usually chop them up, put them in there, and it's delicious. That's more than enough sweetness.
yeah.
And then if you want, you can again, if you want more calories or you need it, to keep you full longer, adding a scoop of whatever your protein powder is, mix that in there, and maybe just add a little bit more liquid because obviously it's going to have a more thick consistency. But toss all that in the microwave for a couple of minutes, and you're ready to go. Then you can top it with more fresh fruit. Again, if you're going for a little bit more calories, you can add some pumpkin seeds, some
So good.
nuts of any variety that you prefer, or even just cool it down with a little bit more plant milk of any
Yeah, I like
kind.
to do that.
I always add a chopped banana to the top of mine, or even just a tiny sprinkling of vegan chocolate chips,
Mhm.
just to give it a little bit of
Sounds really hearty.
sweetness. Yeah, it is. It's
Yeah,
super hearty. It tastes like a nice like berry casserole because
yeah,
it's.
that sounds
I just add mixed frozen
like
berries
a
to
pie
it, and
almost, like a warm
yeah, yeah, and it's delicious, and you can make that in any way that you want, right? You could use blueberries or raspberries, blackberries. You can add a little bit of cinnamon to it. You could add some pumpkin spice seasoning to it. You could even, in place of the frozen berries, you could add some pumpkin puree. It really the sky's the limit. You could use some apples and some peanut butter. You mix and match with whatever you like, but that base is always the oats and then that non-dairy milk, and then you kind of add from there, and that's easily under $5.
right?
You can buy a whole container of oats for
Or
$2, and
yeah,
that'll last you for the month.
yeah,
And so there you go, 250 for a can of
yeah,
oats,
uh-huh.
chia
Yeah, to
seeds
get
and
all
hemp
the
seeds.
supplies, it's very cheap
Very cheap,
for
very cheap.
for breakfast, and
Doesn't
it's a
take up
great
much
snack
room.
too,
Yeah, it's
for the
it's
afternoon
very
person.
easy. Right, yeah, yeah. And it's great any time of day, right? Like you said. And brown sugar, whatever, however you like to sweeten it.
Mhm.
Obviously don't add a cup of sugar to it, but
Yeah, they're feeding
you'll
them
be doing just fine.
healthy.
So another way that you can use this, if you say, you know what, I don't really like oatmeal, it's not my thing, it's gloopy, it's gross, soggy, whatever, I've eaten too much of it. Great. this is perfect for you then because you can make oat cake roll-ups,
That sounds
and
good. I've never even heard of this.
they're
Oat
incredible.
oat cake roll-ups. Okay.
Oat cake roll-ups. I make
Write
them
that
every
down.
single weekend, and now I have perfected the
That sounds
recipe,
really
so
good.
you're welcome. This is going to be half cup of oats. Toss them into your Vitamix or your bullet blender, whatever little blender you have. Same thing: tablespoon of chia seeds, tablespoon of hemp seeds or hemp hearts, whatever you want. A cup of non-dairy milk, maybe a little bit more if it's too thick for you. And then a teaspoon of coconut sugar or regular sugar, a banana. Toss it all in there. It's almost like you're going to make a protein shake.
Okay.
You can even toss a scoop of your protein in there if you feel like it. Again, it's almost the exact same ingredients as the oatmeal bowl, but you're going to add a little bit more water than you would to the oatmeal because obviously it needs to be nice and runny. You're going to blend all this up. Sorry, I forgot. Add in just a pinch of salt. Just get the salt shaker and just give it a little shake, and you're done. And then a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of baking powder. Blend all that stuff in your bullet blender, and then heat about a quarter cup of it in a pan until there's bubbles on
Oh,
top, just like a normal pancake. Flip that sucker when all the bubbles have popped and roll it up. You can serve it with whatever, if you have yogurt or fresh fruit. I usually make a berry sauce out of my frozen berry blend. Just heat all those up and then put it in the blender and blend it. And now you have a sauce to go with your
yeah, that
oat
sounds
cake
great.
roll ups. You could toss in, again, you can add whatever kind of sweet spices you like in there. So you put some cinnamon, you could put the pumpkin spice seasoning. Really, it's however you like your pancakes to taste. So you could put chocolate chips in there while you're cooking. You could add blueberries to it. Really, it's another way to have pancakes,
Yeah.
but instead of just using plain whole wheat flour, you're going to use oats, and you're going to add those chia seeds, the hemp seeds. You're adding a banana, so you're getting a serving of fruit. You're getting whole grains from the oats. You're going to be getting the good milk instead of using eggs and milk for a binding agent in traditional pancakes. You're going to use a banana as the egg and non-dairy milk as your milk. And you can make a whole batch of these and keep them in the fridge or take them as a snack. You could have them for lunch. You
That
could make them
sounds really
savory if you
great.
wanted to
Oh,
leave
maybe
out
dessert.
anything. Yeah, they're delicious. Oh, you could have them as dessert. You can do whatever you want. They're even making vegan whipped cream now, which
Yeah,
is
yeah, that's pretty good.
so delicious. Yeah, there's an almond milk one, and I think it's like 10 calories
I
per
haven't
like.
tried I've only tried the coconut one. I'm
Oh,
not
it is
a big
the
coconut
almond
fan.
one is delicious. It is so
I
good.
wanted to try that.
Yeah, give it a shot.
That sounds really
So you can have that in a variety of ways. I guess you could also make that into, if you have a waffle iron or a waffle press, you
yeah,
could
yeah,
make waffles out
yeah,
of that as well. And you can top it with some vegan butter or leave it out. Just whatever suits you.
yeah.
And again, you can top that with the nuts. You can top that with the fresh fruit. You can serve it up with a tofu scramble, which a package of tofu will cost you $2. So that's very cheap. Again, we're still under the $5, and now you have a full meal, and it'll serve you all day, multiple days. You can make a big vat of it and eat that throughout the week. So it's
Great for
perfect for
kids,
meal
it
prepping.
sounds, a lot of kids sound like they'd eat that too as a snack.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, it's kid friendly. You can make little tiny pieces, whatever shape you can make a pancake, you can make an oat cake.
Yeah,
And so that's simple. Going into what you have for a snack, um, if we've already discussed the fruit. So any variety of fruit: apples, bananas, plums, nectarines, peaches, oranges, pineapple, kiwis, mangoes, whatever you like, berries. Just buy 5 different varieties of fruit when you go to the store and eat those throughout the week.
okay.
Right? You can buy a bag of peaches. You can buy a bag of plums, a bag of pears. You can
Yeah,
buy
definitely
canned
be good
fruit.
at that variety.
Yeah, and buy a full variety of fruits, right? You can buy dried mangoes and make sure that they're unsulfured and don't have any sugar. So just a pure dried mango that's unsulfured, because the sulfur can actually be inflammatory. So you don't want to be eating that.
Right.
You can buy dried apricots. Again, make sure no sugar, no sulfur. You can buy bananas. I'd avoid banana chips because they're often packaged with really bad desiccating agents. So those are drying agents that are harmful to humans, but they're good for profits. So
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway,
Okay.
fresh fruit are great. It's easy to go to any grocery store, or even 7-Eleven sells fruit, so there's no excuse to not eat fruit.
Oh
One
yeah,
thing to point
7-Eleven,
out, though,
for sure. I've gotten a banana from
right? Absolutely. Starbucks has a stack of bananas all the time, so you can grab a coffee and a banana.
like
Um,
two for a dollar bananas usually, and
exactly.
you
Right.
know,
Right.
for
You know.
a shake and a banana snack, or a banana this day and a banana
Absolutely.
the next day. It's really
Right, right. And then you can alternate, right? And it's the ways that you eat your fruit. So, you can have a banana with your oatmeal. You can blend it into your shake and have that all to go.
mhm.
Very easy. So, fresh fruit is, always my go-to snack. Now, if I'm a little bit hungrier than that, you could eat. Sure, you could say, "Oh, I'll have two apples." Okay, great. Have two apples, or you can have an apple and a small handful of nuts. And I say a small handful of nuts, like 5 or 6 cashews.
Yeah, like 10
Same
almonds or
thing.
something, 'cause
Yeah, 10
I definitely
almonds.
go over. Not me, but
Right.
I mean,
And
I would
oh,
before
it's easy.
I realized I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
fuck, there's that
Yeah.
much in 10
Right.
almonds
Well,
or
there's a
10,
lot. Yeah. They're very calorically dense. And what we want to avoid is eating calorically dense foods. We want volumetrically dense foods. So fruits and vegetables are mainly water. So you're getting tons of water, nutrients, and fiber, and not a ton of calories that are usually, when we talk about calorically dense foods, we're talking about things that are high in fat and high in carbohydrates. So if you think of white bread is just empty calories. It's actually void of nutrients and has some vitamins and minerals added back in, but even at that, it's because they're mandated to add those back in. It's
yeah.
not because they care about your health.
We can't feed the people plastic? What do you mean?
What? Yeah, darn. So and that kind of leads me back to healthful foods. Bread should always be either sourdough or 100% whole grain,
Okay.
and I say 100% whole grain. If it doesn't say that on the package or the bag or whatever your bread comes in, then that's not whole grain bread. So a couple of the brands that I like are Dave's Killer Bread. Um,
Ezekiel? I like that.
Ezekiel is a good one. There's some sprouted varieties. Those are all great. Um,
I like Ezekiel's because the pieces are smaller. Because I usually end
yeah,
up eating, like, a regular sized piece of bread, but
right.
they're smaller, so and it feels like a regular size sandwich,
Sure, sure.
but less of the nonsense.
Right, right. And again, if you're eating those, then you're getting servings of whole grains, which are great because you should have 3 to 4 servings of whole grains every day. So, boom, or 2 slices of bread, you knocked out 2 servings of whole grains. You're all set. If you had a bowl of oatmeal and for breakfast, you're at 3 servings of whole grains. So you're doing great. Um, Looking at lunch, I mentioned the Morningstar patties or the nuggets. These
Yeah,
are going to have 50% less fat than their chicken counterparts. And so already right there, you've cut your fat in half, right? And if we just went off of this meal plan for the day, you're already under about, well, let's just assume you either had the oats or the roll ups.
yeah,
You're looking at roughly 10 to 15 grams of fat, which is excellent. So
yeah.
that's
That's
already a low fat diet. And so a low fat diet is anything that's considered to be less than 10% of your calories from fat. So that is already less than 10% of your calories from fat. And if we have those Morningstar patties with a sandwich, you can slice a little bit of red onion, put whatever greens you like on there, maybe some spinach, some romaine, iceberg lettuce,
yeah,
whatever lettuce you have or whatever you like to buy, some sliced tomato, a little bit of vegan mayo, and then, like I said, the sourdough or the whole grain bread. And then, like we talked about with the potatoes, you can slice up some potatoes and bake them in the oven at 375 or 400 degrees for 45
yeah.
minutes. Turn
Oh,
them halfway. You can toss some seasoning on there
oh
before it's
yeah,
done. Oh, excellent! And if you have an air fryer, even better. It's going to take 15 minutes, and you can air fry those.
that's
I'm
great. I've
actually going
wanted
to
to
have
get one
those
of
for
those for
lunch.
a while.
Oh yeah, I'm going to have them for lunch right after this.
Dang, dang,
Air
dang.
fryers are clutch.
That's great.
Um, And that's a more than enough lunch. Again, you can prepare it all ahead, bring it with you. You could dice those chickens up and make a salad out of it. Again, we're still staying under $5 right here for this lunch, and there's multiple varieties and ways to have it. Um, looking at another snack, it's those same snacks that I already talked about. If you had a small handful of nuts or some hummus and vegetables for a snack earlier, have a piece of fruit later, right? Or two pieces of
Okay.
fruit.
When do you think
And
it's
then
best to have fruit? Do you feel like, you know, I guess it really depends on when people are working out, have it more after around the time you work out so your body's using it, and maybe not fruit like in the evening kind of thing,
no,
or what do you
there's no
okay.
nothing. Eat it whenever you want.
How
The
about
one thing,
right before or after a meal, having fruit? Isn't it bad to have
yeah,
fruit right after you eat or right before you eat?
neither one. So what I will say is,
Doesn't
if
ferment in
you
your
are
stomach?
no, none of that.
God, my
So what I will say is, if
or
you are trying to lose weight, you should load up before you eat. So if you're gonna go have dinner with friends or whatever, whenever you're gonna go out and have dinner, or you're gonna eat dinner, whatever it is, you should eat some fruits and vegetables
okay.
prior to eating. So have an apple, or a couple of stalks of celery, or some any fresh vegetables. Eat those beforehand, and it'll actually basically like prime your stomach and your body to take in less food because you're already full.
Okay.
Similar to that, you can drink a glass of water before you go and have dinner, and that will fill up your stomach and make you want to eat less food. So, and then going back to your other question about, when should you eat fruit after working out? Um, Honestly, there's the supplement industry will have you convinced that you need to buy whatever latest pre-workout there is, but the single best workout, a pre-workout that you could eat, is 3 or 4 dates and or a banana or two about an hour before you work out.
Yeah,
And
the pre-workout did a number on my heart now that I've
I'm sure of it.
gotten older. I
I'm
really
sure of
feel
it.
like it really I have arrhythmia sometimes. I feel like my heart stops. It's like and
Yeah,
that
yeah. It's
pre-workout, oh
it's
shit.
not good for you.
Oh
It's
my
high
god.
in calories. The other thing to say about that is, there is no regulations on what are or aren't
Yeah.
in your protein powders, in your supplements, in your pre-workouts. So that entire 2 billion, 3 billion, $4 billion industry has no regulation. So
Super
I could go into my kitchen right now, and this is fact. I could go into my kitchen right now, grab flour and rice flour and tapioca flour and a sprinkling of turmeric, shove it into a capsule, and go and sell it
yeah, yeah, you could.
at the
Yeah, you
local
could.
market,
For
and
sure.
market that
Sure.
as a turmeric supplement when it's 95% rice powder and tapioca powder and a little smidge of turmeric, and I could sell that for 35, $40, $100 a bottle, because you can go on Amazon right now and find all of that with zero regulation, zero certifications, and no guarantees of any kind. But they'll take your money all day long.
Yeah.
So, that leads me into talking about supplements that will help to safeguard against your health and are just kind of like an insurance policy into having a healthier lifestyle. Now, there's there is no replacement for good diet, and a healthy lifestyle. It means exercise, good mental health. So you
Yes,
can't just say, "Oh, I'm not going to exercise, but I'll take supplements. I'm not going to eat vegetables, but I'll take supplements. I'm not
yeah.
going to talk about my mental health, but I'll take supplements of some
I'm gonna eat
variety."
like shit, but I'll work out then.
Not
But
going to work. Not
oh,
going to work. That's never going to work. You
yeah.
have to have good mental health, good physical health, and then what you put in your body has to be good as well. You
Yeah.
can't supplement for those things. So there are things that can enhance what you're already doing. And in some cases, like in the case of vitamin D or vitamin B12, if it's winter, we cannot make vitamin D because there is no UV light to prompt our body to synthesize vitamin D. So to say that you can to say that your body could synthesize vitamin D when there's no sunlight out, such as from September to just about March, it's just not true. So, with that in mind, everybody should take a vitamin D3 supplement
Okay.
all the time, no matter where you live, unless you live at the equator, which
Right.
sure people do.
Almost.
But
Yeah.
if you don't, then and another way to tell is if the UV, and we all have smartphones, so anyone can easily look at our weather app and say what's the UV index today. If the UV index is less than 2 or 3, then you need to be taking a vitamin D supplement. If you're not going to spend 20 to 30 minutes outside
Yeah.
getting sun on your face, neck, and arms and legs,
Mhm.
then you are not going to synthesize enough vitamin D. And vitamin D is paramount to having energy levels, good hormone production, and just overall well being, right? Because vitamin D is what's going to help us to regulate our circadian rhythms. So if we don't
Around
have a good
like
balance
what's
of
the
vitamin
time?
D,
A few hundred years ago?
right, exactly.
1,000 or
And
whatever?
so we should be taking a vitamin D supplement because now we live in concrete jungles where we don't go outside, where we aren't exposing our bodies to sun, we're slathering up with harmful or sunscreens and sun lotions that are not going to be beneficial to our health. So, all comes down to it. Vitamin D3 supplement. The one that I recommend is going to be by Vivo Life. It is, I think it's $16 or $17 for a bottle, and I think it's 600 doses.
What
So that's less
Viva?
than a penny.
Viva
Vivo Life, yeah,
Vivo.
and we'll link it in the bottom there. And like I said, it's $16 or $17, and it's 600 doses. So that's over 2 years almost 2 years of doses for $17. So
Wow.
it's less than a penny a day, and you just drop a little bit under your tongue and move on with your day. And like I said, you only need to utilize that from about September to May. But again,
Right.
you can easily check your weather app
Yeah.
or whatever weather app you have, and see what's the UV index today for my location and figure it out. If you're going to be spending the day outside, great, you don't need it. If you're eating foods that are fortified with vitamin D, great. Would I suggest a supplement outside of that? Yes, but you do you.
Yeah.
Next is vitamin C. If you're eating a well balanced diet, then you shouldn't need the vitamin C. But if you're not eating 4 or more servings of fruit every single day, then it would be a good thing to go ahead and supplement with vitamin C because there are several studies that show that you do. First off, it helps with wound healing and that you do recover from illnesses 3 to 4 days quicker than if you didn't. So, in one study in particular, participants that were ill were not as ill, or sorry, recovered 3 to 4 days quicker than those who did not supplement with vitamin C. So, you can buy any vitamin C at CVS or whatever pharmacy. Make sure it's from ascorbic acid and take 1,000 1,000 milligrams daily, and you're good to go. Sorry, I didn't note for the D3. But if you buy the Vivo Life brand, it's the exact dosage that you need. Like I said, it's $17. I think it's
Like a
16,
two-year supply.
$17. 2 year supply. That's less than a penny a day. And then same thing with the B12. And you can buy it from Vivo Life. It's again $16 or $17. And again, it's the same thing. 600 doses in there, and it's more than you'll need. B12, nobody lives out in, well, obviously not nobody, but the majority of us, nobody in America lives out on the plains and is harvesting their fruits and vegetables and eating from the dirt. And even if you are, our soil is so depleted that there's no B12 in there anymore because thankfully we wash our hands. And especially now, please be washing your hands frequently. But we wash everything and we're very sanitary, which is great, but it's not great for obtaining B12. And that is very important for our lives. And if you don't have B12, you won't know until it's already too late. And it doesn't actually show any symptoms until you go into nervous system failure as the disease progresses. So take
Super.
your B12. That's it. It's very simple.
So if you're not
You take
dying,
your B12.
take your B12.
No, you're not gonna die. You just will slowly start to
Shrivel, turn into
shrivel into nothing. So since nobody wants that, and we all care about our nervous system health, That's very, it's a very simple thing to
Yeah.
take. Again, it's just a couple of droppers underneath your tongue. You're good to go. And you do that once a week. So this is simple,
Pretty
right?
easy.
You can incorporate that into your life. It's very cost effective, and and you're good to go. That's all you need. One thing to note that no, there is don't be fooled by anybody who will try to tell you that there's this supplement blend or mix or concoction that will prevent or cure COVID-19. That is not true. And
You mean drinking
I will
Clorox isn't going to do
I
that?
will definitely not, and I will openly say
Okay.
none of these supplements that I've recommended are intended to treat or cure or prevent any illnesses. The vegan diet, there is no diet that will cure or treat or prevent COVID-19. If you suspect that you have COVID-19, you should absolutely seek out the proper medical advice and the medical treatment. And do not be fooled by anybody who says that they have some sort of special tonic to cure this, because that is not possible. Um, unless you are speaking to a virologist that knows something that the rest of the world doesn't know, you're better off just eat your fruit and vegetables, take your supplements if these pertain to you, which they all should, and
Be me.
wash your hands and drink water. Really, drink water and get enough sleep. I think one of the really big parts of this entire thing is, since everyone's home, we're on our phones, we're laying in bed, we're very sedentary. It's easy to fall out of our circadian rhythmic routines. And I'm victim to it as well. I've been going to bed at midnight, but my
Yeah.
general bedtime is 10:30. So even the last few nights,
And the
I've
time
been falling
change thing
asleep.
is still
Oh, the
so
time change
messed up.
messes things up. Yeah, it's a mess. But I've been falling asleep at 10:30, and then I'll wake myself back up because I realize, oh, I'm sitting on the couch watching TV. But it was my bedtime, but I just neglected to follow my routine and go to bed. So you want to be sure that you're getting at least 8 hours of sleep every single night. If you're an athlete or you're trying to go to school, honestly, just 8 hours minimum. And make sure that you're sleeping in a room that's anywhere between 62 and 70 degrees. If you like a little cooler, great. If you like a little warmer, great. Um, I would
I have been on
recommend that.
77.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. You like to be
Oh,
warm, great. But the other thing to that is you should sleep in a nice dark location.
oh
So
yeah.
no lights. Make sure you get some blackout curtains or put something in the window. Turn off, like I said, turn off all the lights. If you prefer, you can sleep with a sound machine or a fan, or I sleep with an air purifier on, so there's always some kind of background noise. Um, even we listen to like a adult bedtime story,
Oh, that's cute.
and it's really nice to go to sleep to. And there's
An
various different
adult
podcasts.
bedtime story.
Oh, they're fantastic. Yeah. So the sleep is really crucial to healing and also preserving our health. So if we're not sleeping, then our health really just starts to deteriorate,
Yeah, we're
and
not healing or getting
we're not
better.
healing.
We're
No,
still
and in sleep is in fact that is the time when our body is doing the most healing and recovery. And so if you're not going to bed until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you're sleeping all day, you're throwing off your circadian rhythm. It's very unhealthy for you, and actually there's an increased risk of mortality rate as you age and continue to kind of live in a nocturnal setting. Humans are not meant for that. We should be awake during the day, asleep when it's dark, and eating an abundance of fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, and whole grains as much as we can. Take your vitamins, wash your hands, and really, that's the best advice that I can give to you.
Yeah, well, you've provided some really great advice and suggestions for some meals and things that are easy. Have a few things that people. I mean, everybody's heard of chia seeds. Not everybody's heard
Right.
of hemp seeds sometimes, but you can get all of this stuff off of Amazon. Tons of it.
That's what
They're
I was gonna
very
say.
affordable.
Everybody, I mean, every single person I know has been quarantining and chilling and ordering things on
Yes,
Amazon. So to say, you don't know where to get
it's
a
all
chia
there.
seed, a hemp seed, even oats,
Mhm.
Amazon.
Yeah,
Amazon Pantry has everything. You can order from every single grocery store. Walmart is in all 50 states. You can have anything delivered.
yeah,
They carry chia seeds, they carry hemp seeds, they carry oats and fruits and vegetables, whole grains, legumes, all of those things. And these these supplements that I mentioned, you can get them from their website. They, I believe, shipping's free over. I think it's $35. So you know, if you buy both of those supplements, that's $35 right there. Boom, your shipping is free. If you don't have $35 extra, maybe it's time to reconsider if you need Hulu and Netflix and Spotify, um,
yeah,
because those are more than
for sure,
$35. So
for
you have to
sure.
kind of weigh out: is your health more important, or
Yeah.
is having free streaming
Or
services?
the apps or this other thing
Right,
or having
right.
my,
So
yeah, my this, that, or the other thing or, what it
right, right. Or do you really need to go out to drinks or dinner with friends 2, 3 times a week? Because that easily adds up to $100.
oh my god.
I basically only drink water or tea, which is basically free. So, that's it doesn't get much easier than that.
Yeah.
And
And you
you
can
should always be
exercise
thinking
while you're
about that.
walking to the bathroom. I mean, that's if you're
There you
peeing a
go.
lot, that just means that you're getting those steps in.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. You know,
I know that you are a trainer, and I'm gonna put your information and anything on the website uh,
mhm.
here for you. You've provided some really great information, and we've had some really great chats in the past. And I definitely want to have you on here talking about just other things in life in general. But this is definitely a time to talk about eating now, what is the future of food, what we should be doing, how we can prevent things. And a lot of it comes down to from greenhouse gases to
Mhm.
pandemics, not
Yeah.
eating fucking meat. And if that's
Yep.
one
That's
thing
it.
that you can't learn how to switch out to better your life, your kids' life, your neighbor's life, the future of this
Mhm.
planet's life, then those are really things that you need to deal with and need to work on and kind of let your ego die in those kinds of instances because it's really you're having vegetable and carb still that's vegan,
Mhm.
so you're already having usually two-thirds of your food is already vegan,
Yep.
and it's just
Right.
that singular meat or dairy, which there's no excuse for dairy because the mayo
There's
is
none.
delicious. Hyman's
Right.
are
Right.
the
Right.
main mayo makers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's
Hellman,
the V? I don't even know. I don't
the,
even buy. I don't. I buy.
Just
Follow your
Just
heart.
Mayo makes it,
Oh, just
and
right, right,
Hellman's comes out and it's delicious. They serve there,
right.
and
And the other thing is, if you don't eat mayo at all, I didn't eat mayo
I
actually
didn't.
until I went vegan.
Me
So
too, dude. I
I
had never
actually,
tasted it
so my
before.
mom said that she was allergic to mayo my whole life, and so
Shut-
we never ate mayo. And I don't know. I don't have a relationship with her anymore, so I don't know. If she was allergic to eggs or what. But I saw her eat eggs all the time, so it couldn't have been the eggs, right? But growing up, I thought, oh, my mom's allergic to mayo. I must be allergic to mayo.
Oh my god.
We don't eat mayo. And you're a child. What do you know? If someone tells you you're allergic to something and you've never had it before,
Yeah,
you could think you're allergic to hippos. So you'd be like, oh, I can't go around a hippo.
not the
Um,
hippos.
Not the hippos, yeah. So, I grew up thinking, oh, I'm allergic to mayonnaise. Never ate mayonnaise, and then you know, people were like, well, what are you allergic? Oh, are you allergic to eggs? And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, then how are you allergic to mayonnaise? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, well,
What?
if you're not allergic, and I was probably like 13 or 14, and
Yeah.
someone was like, well, if you're not allergic to eggs, you're not allergic to oil. That's the only thing that's really in mayonnaise. And I was like,
And
oh,
you're
well,
like,
I don't eat it.
motherfucker.
I had never eaten it. I mean, the only times when I would eat mayo is like if someone was making a sandwich for me and they said, oh, do you want mayonnaise on this? Or if I got a sandwich from somewhere
Yeah.
and it had mayonnaise, I just send it back because I say, oh, I'm allergic to mayonnaise. So,
Yes.
so I didn't eat it.
Oh my god.
And the rare occasion when I would, I was like, oh, that's disgusting because I didn't like that flavor
Yeah.
because I didn't know what it was.
Uh huh. Huh.
So it wasn't until I went vegan and actually my wife was like, oh, I want to buy mayo. And I was like, ew. Like we just never had mayo in the house. It wasn't a thing. So I bought it with mayo. She had made a sandwich or something. I was like, oh, it's actually pretty good. She was
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, it's just
And now I'm
mayonnaise. And I
like
was like, but I
everything
don't eat
mayo.
mayonnaise. Yeah, but if you don't like mayonnaise,
uh,
avocado is
yeah.
easily just sub that in there and boom. you got it. Or hummus is another great one. Um, if you shop at any grocery store, there's always some sort of variety of like a cashew, excuse me, cheese sauce or queso sauce.
Yeah,
I recently discovered this new one at Costco. It's called bitchin sauce,
interesting.
and
Huh.
I'm not sure if they sell it outside of California because it's a California-based company.
I haven't
Um,
seen any vegan
it is
queso on my side
delicious.
of
Okay, and you go to Costco. Okay,
the Mississippi. No, I don't go
interesting.
to Costco. I
Oh,
don't,
okay.
but I haven't even heard of it. We have a massive vegan community here, and I follow a lot of
Oh, okay.
photo pages. And in Miami,
Mhm.
where I had come from before, is vegan huge, huge.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
we shopped at a lot of places. I'll see if because usually my partner was like always like try this, and I'm like, well,
Yeah, yeah.
no
Well,
more.
and we usually just try them all out, because I've had so many different varieties of vegan items,
Oh yeah,
vegan butters, cream cheeses, milks,
and they're not all the same. So you definitely
whipped
got to try them all.
creams. Oh no, they're definitely not the
Yeah,
same. And you know, it's very easy. Just like you would find a different, variety of cream cheese, it's perfectly okay to try a different variety of a vegan food.
hmm
And recipes get better every single day. It's great to experiment.
the
For
cream
people to
cheese
use
is
the
good.
excuse that, oh, it's delicious.
They
The brand Miyokos, they make the best cream
yes,
cheese that
yeah.
I've had, hands down. And if you have Trader Joe's where you are, they make a really good cream cheese. It's a little bit sweet, so it's probably better suited for
Mhm,
like a
mhm,
sweet bagel or a
mhm.
sweet whatever you're gonna make that's sweet.
Yeah, I like it a little
Um,
saltier, or not.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And it's
right. So it
surprisingly, I can't
right.
believe it.
Daya,
Like,
they make great products. Actually, Daya redid their entire recipe for all of their foods, and ever since they've made fantastic products. So they make blocks of cheese,
oh yeah,
um,
cheese
every
is
variety
good.
that you want. They make blocks of cheese. They make shredded cheese. They make the cream
And it
cheese.
burns like
They
real
have a
cheese. It
Oh
bubbles
yeah,
like real
it
cheese.
sure
It's
does. It is
crispy
delicious.
taste like you want to
Excellent.
eat all the. Yeah,
Excellent.
it's.
I think maybe did you message me about the enchiladas? Um, Someone
Um,
messaged me about the enchiladas and was
I don't
like,
think
"Oh, is
so,
that
but it
cheese on there?" And
sounds delicious.
no, it was the diet cheese. It's so good.
That sounds great.
It's very simple.
Yeah,
It's easy to just make those little changes and to be healthier, right? You
you know.
don't need to be the healthiest, but try to be a little bit healthier every day.
For sure. Instead of having, if you can't afford some of the vegan, frozen products like some of the meatballs, it's easy to put uh, white beans
Oh,
inside of your
absolutely,
pasta sauce and just have that
absolutely.
with pasta instead. And there's
Hmm.
a ton, super hearty. I love
Oh
to
yeah.
make chickpeas and cannellini beans and white beans. I think white
Hmm.
navy beans in there,
Hmm.
and it's really so hearty. And I need a
Oh
lot less
yeah.
pasta
Hmm.
and because there's already carbs in the beans and there's a ton of protein,
Right.
a
It's
little bit of
great.
fat, and
Yep.
it's great. Peanut butter is also has fat and protein in it. A little bit, too
Hmm.
much sugar for the ones that aren't organic and stuff like that.
Yes.
But
Right. Right. Always. Yeah. Always make sure you just peanuts and oil and salt.
the
I prefer
natural,
by the unsalted. Yeah, and always just natural peanut butter. If your peanut butter has more than three ingredients, put it back. Get another one.
yeah,
And pay the extra dollar for the health because you're either going to pay now or you're going to pay later.
for
And paying
sure.
an extra dollar for less ingredients is less prescriptions down the road. So I don't know about you, but I only want one prescription for the rest of my life, and
That's
and I'm good. So
that's right. That's right.
yeah,
We're talking about marijuana.
and we're
Okay.
that's exactly what it is. Oh man,
Well, it's been really great chatting with you today. I really appreciate you making
yeah,
time
absolutely.
and talking about this important topic that needed
Hmm.
to be talked about. And as I go on, so this is my only my second interview, and this one's already much better because I having just trying to figure out the lighting and where I should go.
Oh,
The
good, good.
quality will get better over time. The sound will get better over time. But it's really important to be voices in our community since there are not many FTM voices out there. There's not many people in the
Hmm.
community that are talking about important topics outside of being an FTM or just just
Hmm.
focusing on transitioning because that's it's a small part of my life. I have an entire life,
Hmm.
and it's about as, as much as, I have a ear piercing or short hair or tattoos.
Hmm.
It's a part of me that, there's a lot of other things going
Absolutely.
on and that are really important to talk about and that affect
Right.
us all. So
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
we all, at the end of the day, we're all people,
for
and
sure.
being trans, or being LGBTQ, that's just
People,
one part of us.
that's
But
right.
we all eat, we all sleep, we all have to consume some sort of liquid, we all have to consume water. So,
Mhm.
that's a huge conversation. We all have to be active.
I agree.
So, those are all really important. And yeah, thanks for having me on, and I look forward to chatting with you again.
For sure. And if you guys need any help with vegan lifestyles, vegan eating, a vegan diet, working out, learning to work
Hmm.
out in a vegan lifestyle, having more affordable vegan lifestyle, anything under the vegan sun, please turn to Cameron and go to his link that I'll have here in the video and in the description. He has a lot of great info, and obviously through our last hour of conversation, you can see he's super personable, really understanding, and is there for you and your journey. So and do you work with people outside of a vegan lifestyle also?
Yes, I do, but I will not ever recommend that anybody consume animal products.
For sure.
There's,
Like if they wanted to come to you for training or something
oh,
like that. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah,
cool. That's that was
yeah.
more.
Oh, I'm capable of training athletes from never lifted a weight to, someone. I wouldn't say a major league player, but if you're somewhere in that realm, I'm more than happy to discuss exercise and nutrition with you.
That's great. Awesome, man. I appreciate it. And please reach out to him. And if you guys want to see any other kinds of videos or have anything you want to comment or add, things that you're interested in, please subscribe, like, and comment on the bottom. We'll work in getting Cameron and me into commenting on this video. If you guys have any information, please follow us at FTM Transitions on Instagram. We work daily to try to highlight the greatness and transitions that people are going through on their FTM journey. Before and afters is what we really solely focus on, but we have answered tons and tons, probably around 100 hours of questions and FAQs and Q&As in the highlights that are there for anybody to find out the most pertinent question that they have in their FTM transition. So thank you again. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to our next call.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much.